3, 2, 1. Hello, this is Andraken, and welcome. Disclaimer, before I continue, this is my first YouTube video. Hopefully it's not my only YouTube video. I hope there will be many more. But, because this is my first one, I would appreciate all comments, likes, and other forms of support. Tell me how I can improve as a YouTuber, and how I can make my videos better. Now to what's on the screen in front of me. This is Factorio. Like Minecraft, but in a 2D manner, it focuses on automating things. Automating production of resources, building better and bigger things, etc. It is a game, it is an alpha, but all the releases that are major releases have been stable. And in fact, multiplayer is already up, working. Occasionally with my friend I've played, and we've had large maps with little lag, and it's been a very enjoyable experience. It does cost money, and but I would recommend that if you like what you see here, look into purchasing the game, or at least waiting for it to come out. It will be on Steam sometime, but that may be a ways off from now. Now on to the actual game. So I thought I'd start a new game. This is all the settings. You can customize your map. Highly peaceful mode. There are enemies, so there is a chance to potentially lose the game, although the autosave system makes that not too much of a problem. The ores, you know, how often you want them to occur, the size, and then per each node how much you want them. I'm going to leave that all to regular, and we'll spawn a few maps and see what we get. So, our first map. We start out with a little bit of iron ore, a few things in our inventory to get it started off. Wouldn't be possible without that, but my game apparently froze for a second. Okay, now we're back. Look at the map. Now there are a few resources in the game. Oil, which isn't that important right now. Stone, copper, and coal, and most important of all, iron. We need to have a large deposit of these for this to be a viable map. Looking around and at the map here, it does not seem there's that much iron here, so I'm going to re-roll and see if I can get a better map. Maybe get a little... Ooh, that's the load game. New game. See if I can get a better map and see if it'll work a little bit better. Map. Lots of copper. Oil. Wow, that's a lot of oil. Coal. And a bit bigger. Also trees. So, in this game, everything you do, that burning things, etc., causes pollution. Pollution is where the monsters come in. The monsters don't like the pollution, and so they'll come and try to attack you. So trees will absorb pollution, which is why having a lot of trees around, both for their wood, which you can chop them down, and also for protecting you from the pollution. So having a lot of trees is good, although late game it can become a little bit annoying. So this looks like an okay starting map, but let's save it for now and see if we can get a little bit better on our third try. Oh, can't be number one apparently. Number one. Let's see if that works instead. Yes. Let's roll. Ooh, load game again. You can see I played before. Kind of got into the habit of that. Generate one more map. See what we get. Desert. Desert. Nah, not that good. Let's go with number one and stick with this map. So now that we have our map, let's get into some basic game mechanics. First off, you have the logistics tab, building things mostly for automation or holding resources, production. These things will produce, like, you know, burners, research labs. We'll get into the research system in a second. Miners, things to generate power, and of course a tool, which the iron we have originally we'll use to craft that. Intermediate products, things used to make other things, and also some things for research, and then your combat system. So now we have the iron tool. You may have noticed before it took a long time for me to try to chop down that tree. Now it's much faster. I can start getting some wood. Wood is useful for mostly burning, but also used for electric poles, and that's actually about it. Of course, the wooden chests too. But wood is not honestly that useful. So we also notice you'll have a burner mining drill and stone furnace. These run off coal. Coal is a resource you need a lot of at the start of the game, and at the end of the game you have the option to go coal, which has the danger of being very pollution heavy, or you can instead opt for the cleaner version, which you get in solar panels. Now how do you acquire these things, you ask? You press T, you have the research screen. These are all the technologies. As you go on, they become greater and greater levels. They cost science packs, which you can craft manually or in the automations things you will get later on. And through these you can unlock, and there's like, oh, there's not that many technologies, but it lasts a long time. Games, especially if you go for larger factories, can last 10 or more hours easily. Potentially, if you really want to go big, over 100. And replayability. Setting up a factory can be new and different and improved every time. So, building bigger and better factories makes this game very replayable. Now I just crafted a burner inserter. Inserters move things from one thing to another. Crafted chests here. Burner inserter is different from regular inserters in that it requires fuel, both coal or in this case wood. Now that I have that, this will automatically, let me press Alt here to get this easily seen. You start transferring iron from the stone furnace into the chest, which makes now I can just collect it anytime I want by and have iron to start building more things. Now if I press M, you'll notice that I have this red square. This is my pollution. If there were enemy base on the map and this got far enough away that it actually touched them, then we'd start having problems where my pistol, other guns I will eventually have, or turrets come into play. You notice over here how it's not symmetrical in a circle. That's because up here we have the forest, while over here we don't. So having that is important to keep in mind. Now that I have some more iron, I can start building things for production. Ooh, I need stone furnace. Stone furnace, as you may have guessed, you need stone for. There's a small stone deposit over here. We can easily acquire that, and well, we can go from there. Now one of the problems early game, manual. As I said, this was a game about automating things. Soon, hopefully, we won't have to mine another piece of stone again. But this is a good place to start off. Now that we have a burner mining drill, let's actually get a bit more stone to get another one or two. Next, what I do is want to get a steady source of fuel. Right now I've been using wood, but wood is hard to chop down and easily runs out. It's a very inefficient source of fuel. So now that I have two miners, I can do something interesting, which is put them on a coal mine. Now you see this arrow here, I can rotate it around, and wherever I put the arrow, it will automatically output it. Down here you saw I output it directly into the furnace. Now up here, interesting thing is that if you output two coal miners into each other, they will feed each other and create basically an infinite loop, all the while storing more coal in their fuel slot. Anytime I can walk by, pick up some coal, and use it to power my other things. Now what we want next is, as you can see, we've already run out of fuel in our furnaces down here. So I'll put one piece of coal in and the rest of my wood. Ooh, very inefficient with fuel. Next we want to start working on getting some stone and copper automation, and after that we'll start actually building a few structures that'll be useful to us. Now that we have some real coal, you can see it almost ran out, but it didn't. Put some coal in here. Maybe I'll take that wood back because it can be useful. Notice how the coal is decreasing much more slowly than the wood was. Take some more iron plate and start getting some more burner miner drills, as normal. Last time at least. We need more stone, which requires more mining. This burner drill I think I'm going to use for the stone deposit because this is pretty boring. And by using this, we can start getting stone up and running and keep automating things, which is pretty enjoyable. And also makes my life a lot easier. So now that we have that up and running, all that's left is basically copper, and we can start getting things really done. One of the things after I get my copper done is I want to start getting some research things up and running, along with some electricity. This will allow me to start getting more advanced items, as well as allowing me access to technologies that will make my life continually easier and easier, and the factory more and more automated. Now that I have these things, I can get my last burner miner drill. I needed one more stone to get another furnace to start smelting things. It's plenty. Now that I have these, I can start getting some copper down as well, which will allow me to get some electric poles if I need electricity, and other things like that that will make life around the factory, if you want to call it that yet, a little easier. Now, we also do need an extractor over here. Just another box. This is an iron chest. At this stage in the game, though, and in many stages, that much iron for a chest with a little bit more capacity, usually not worth it. You notice how I'm transferring items, I'm using Control, Alt, etc. to do that, and by doing so, those controls make the game a lot easier, And that's how that works, basically, if you're wondering how I was doing that. Now we have the iron and such, we can start getting together a small electric system. So electricity consists of three things. An offshore pump. You only need one of these, really. I mean, maybe if you got a huge system, you might need two or three, but you just need one. And that'll, for free, draw up water from the outside. Don't ask me how that works. Next, you'll need boilers and steam engines. Now, the ratio of these boilers heat up the water using coal or other things, and then steam engines produce the electricity. Now, don't ask me why, but the ratio is not 1-to-1 on these. In fact, best I can tell, it's 13 boilers to 10 steam engines. But we won't be getting that many for quite a while. So, looks like our limiting factor, if I craft a steam engine, is just stone, which, well, that's a lot of stone. And get me 2 boilers here. So little extra boilers never hurt. They don't waste fuel, they just burn fuel slower if they are full. And if I put some in here, we have fuel available performance, as you can see on the tooltip over here. And if I collect a electric pole, which requires wood and copper, and then I need to hook something up to it, well, we have a few options. We have the electric mining drill or the lab. The lab will require a lot of resources, so we'll see if we have enough to get that done. As you can see, the total raw materials, I can see I have enough copper, but I'm still missing a lot of iron. And looks like we ran dry over here. I'll go grab some more coal. We'll get that up and running. So, what I need for laboratory is originally just laboratory. I'll handcraft, actually I can do that now, some science packs, which will allow me to do various types of research. If you look at the research screen, the basic costs have a time for each science pack, and then also the number of types of science packs. As you go down the line and get more and more advanced, you'll notice you'll start needing green science packs, which we can make now, but just cost more resources and are more complex. And then blue, which is even more complex, and we actually can't craft them ourselves, all the way to purple, which is involved with defeating aliens for resources, which you can then use to turn them into science packs, as well as a few other neat things. And we're back. Now, where was I? Oh yeah, I was talking about science packs. Now, if you notice, the difference between red and green science packs is their resource cost, but more importantly, their complexity level. Green science packs require much more complex crafting recipes, and the key why that is so difficult is because automation. If you really wanted to craft everything in the game hand, you could, many things you could, but the time it would take for you to do that would be immense, and in fact it would take you like almost a year, real lifetime, to be able to craft many of the things you need. That's why automation is so key. You can't do the game without it, and in fact it is the whole reason the game is so fun to play, making it a large factory. Factorio, who would have guessed. So now basically, while we're waiting for the enough iron to be gotten to be smelt so we can use it to get a lab, I will make another miner drill actually and a stone furnace to help speed the process up, even though we are using a bit of our iron. So we just have 1 or 2 miners here, but hopefully in the future we'll be able to get more and maybe make some of those electric mining drills to help speed the process up, as well as not have it, we don't have to come back over here and throw coal in, all these things every time. Now, you're asking, well, how do you get this stuff from place to place? That's where transport belts come in. Transport belts are things that don't require electricity, but they move things forever from one place to another. This becomes very useful, transporting resources around your base, other things like that, which make your life a whole lot easier. Now, let me just balance these things out so it'll work right, or correctly, and get a bit more wood. Now, I haven't had to collect more wood than I did at the very beginning, but soon I'll probably be coming back over here more often because I will need wood for things like electric poles, boxes, etc. Boxes are actually one of the foremost uses for wood, if you would have guessed that, considering how prevalent wood is normally. But, that's Factorio. The industrial future. So, now that our things are kind of starting to run low, I'm going to start trying to hook up things to electricity and hopefully get some electric mining drills down to make this more efficient. But first, we can make a lab. Now, notice how much materials this requires. We have to create copper cable, electronic circuits, gears, transport belt, and then the laboratory. But it will be worth it because we will be able to use the laboratory to unlock an exciting world of new things for Factorio. So now that we have the coal, we can start sprucing these things back up while we wait. Oh, and it finished. Now we have access to research. One of the first things we want is automation because the assembly machine. The assembly machine allows us to build other things. Now we should concentrate on building more things, more science packs, and making sure that automation gets finished. From there, we can begin doing other things and overall becoming a real factory. Now, while our automation is being researched, I'm going to have to call an episode here. It's been fun, guys, and I hope you'll return for episode 2, where we actually get some research done and automation can begin. Thank you for joining me. I'm Draken. See you again.